What's the closest thing to magic that actually exists? Your mom finding something at first try at the same spot that you looked for it 5 times already. I lost the belt for a robe like 15 years ago. Maybe longer. I was at my mom's place today. My childhood home and grabbed the robe because I want to use it for a Thor Lebowski costume for Halloween. Mom said, "Did you grab the belt?" I said, "No. I lost it years ago." She said, "It's hanging on the hook in the closet. Right where the robe was." It was there. I swear I'd worn that robe a million times without the belt. It's not like it was just sitting there undisturbed for decades. But she just knew where it was and boom, it was there. This is the same woman who once handed me a perfectly folded and square-fitted sheet though. So I'm pretty sure Mom's just a witch. Carl Sagan describes books as evidence of magic. Someone dead for thousands of years can speak to you through writing. Also DMT. Quantum mechanics. Seriously, at some point you can just declare it as magic and nothing would change. Can I get an example? A dumbed-down one. Quantum tunneling. Imagine you are standing in a racquetball court. Racquetball is a sport with a special court perfect for this example. You grab a ball and throw it really hard at the wall. Naturally, the ball will start bouncing between the two walls. If you can imagine now that this court is in space, gravity doesn't pull the ball down, and if we ignore friction and imagine the bounces are perfect, the ball would continue to bounce forever between these walls. Now imagine the ball somehow, magically, pops up on the other side of the wall. That is exactly what can happen with atomic scale particles in boxes, where the box is known as a potential well. Quantum well, or quantum dot. The reason why this happens is perhaps even more bizarre. Basically, each time the ball bounces, it's really being reflected, like a beam of light on a mirror. The reflections are perfect, all of the incoming energy is reflected back out. But somehow, some part of the wave gets transmitted through the mirror, the wall, in what's called an evanescent wave. This wave can penetrate through the wall and, if the probability is high enough, make the ball appear on the other side. Where does this wave come from? Where does it get its energy? Quantum mechanics. Even having done the mathematical derivations myself, where it makes sense. It's still really counterintuitive and could just as easily be called magic. I've simplified the example a bit. In reality, it's not that the ball wave penetrates the wall. It's the probability distribution of the existence of the wave that goes through. But it's still a fairly realistic explanation. Wi-Fi. A bunch of ones and zeros float through the air and boom. I have PRN on my phone. We made AirRB. And by we I mean the smart people. Music. With the right incantations and motions, you can alter people's emotions, compel them to dance, or call back long-lost memories. Magnets. And psychedelics. Yeah, I came here to say. Have you not seen magnets? It's in the name, MageNet. Language has always been magic to me. Think about it. We make symbols and with the correct arrangement of those symbols we have accomplished everything. Everything. Language is the first step in all human accomplishment. Language got us to the moon and made the internet and will do everything in the future in advancement. Language is magic. I understand your comment. I read it and understood all of it. You had a thought and then you wrote it down. Hit submit. It got transformed into some other stuff. Propagated through some other things, maybe hundreds of miles. Transformed back into the symbols you used. And now I have the same thought you did. And I don't know how that just happened. I mean, thinking. How does that even work? Hugs. Bro on God. Synthetic media. Imagine being able to generate any sort of image, sound, or text that you want. Want to put your face in an action movie? Want to actually make that action movie from the ground up, but don't have any skills in filmography or acting or sound design? Just get AI to do it for you. So far, the most well-known application of media synthesis is deepfakes. And why shouldn't it be? It's something that attacks our very perception of what's real by altering one of the things we evolved to specifically notice in minute detail, the face and other bodily details. Deepfakes represent one of the biggest technological developments in recent memory. Perhaps since the rise of the internet. But they've been developing mostly in the background. My only issue with deepfakes is that it's a specific kind of synthetic media method. And because it mainly deals with swapping faces. People think that's the best that neural networks can do. In fact, we can generate entire bodies from scratch. We can also use neural networks to turn simple sketches into pieces of art. Not to mention copying voices. Almost down to the exact pitch. We've come a long way from Microsoft SAM. There's also generating text to an uncanny degree. And this is just the 2010s. The generative adversarial network revolution that kicked off this wave of media synthesis is only about 5 or 6 years old. Give it 10 more years. And we could see individuals creating multimedia franchises in their bedrooms with just a smartphone and some generative apps. If that's not magic, I don't know what is. One of the things I've heard is that there's no difference between deepfakes or text generation and Photoshop. And while Photoshop is definitely magic in and of itself, it's also more of a tool. Think of it as like building a house. Photoshop and other image software are like power tools. Media synthesis, however, is more like getting an Asimo or Atlas robot to use those power tools for you. Or in other words, media synthesis is automation. And that's what makes it so magical. It's like Photoshop, but doing all the hard work for you. Magnetic resonance imaging. Align the hydrogen atoms in your body with a magnetic field and strum them with a radio signal to make them vibrate like a guitar string. Then listen to the cacophony with an array of antennas. Unpack the noise into an opera where each note represents an individual atom and plot them in a matrix. Slice the matrix for a view inside your body. All this was figured out when microprocessors were barely more powerful than a modern pocket calculator. A view inside your body. A technician can make pictures of the inside of your body without cutting you open or even touching you. Magic. Money is literal actual magic. We believe in a medium of exchange, and our belief in it is the only thing that gives it power. With that power we have harnessed the atom. Sent men to the moon. Created digital communications and processing technology that in and of itself is functionally magic. All of those were done in the name of war. Not money. But wars are done in the name of money. Thus, thermos keeps things hot. Keeps things cold. How does it know? Same way the fridge knows when you open it. And turns the light on for you. Physics? Yes. Exactly. Why does anything move? What is everything? Why does it work? How is it perfectly consistent? There isn't a written code telling everything how to act. But it does anyway. It's also strange to think about, but if physics was even slightly different we wouldn't be able to exist. Basically imagine a world where gravity was too strong and air didn't rest above the solid Earth. Or where the electromagnetism was too strong or too weak and atoms weren't held together by attraction of charge. Electricity. I can't believe I had to scroll down 18 comments for the obvious answer. Performative utterances. A good example is a priest saying, "I now pronounce you married." They weren't married before. And they are now. Because of the words he spoke. Magic. Technically the priest is just making a judgment of the facts he has seen. He didn't actually do the marrying. At least that is the view in most Christian groups who say marriage is a sacrament. The priest is just a witness, along with the, traditionally, best man and bride's maid. His role is as a witness for the church and to give a blessing on the marriage. The man and woman are the ones actually performing the sacrament. A more correct version, if you want to stay in the same genre of examples, would be the moment when the priest says, "I absolve you from your sins in the name of the Father and of the Son." Technically the priest just has to intend the absolution, so you have some more leeway to call what he says performative. Butterflies and moths. Anything that molts. Really. They start out as one bug. Build a cocoon. Turn into literal mush. Then emerge as a whole new creature. It's amazing. Computers. Do the correct motions and give the correct words. And something very specific in the physical world happens. Visions and knowledge of who knows what come to you through the screen at your command. And even go to your friends hundreds of miles away on their screens. Machines and metal. From cars to microwaves to assembly lines. Yet move and act according to instructions given to them decades ago. but can be redirected in mere moments. Intricate problems and complex algorithms are solved almost instantly. Fortunes are made and lost every day from bedrooms and cubicles. You can conjure entertaining illusions and communicate from across the world, and see the other person while you do it. And finally, if you treat these strange devices without due respect and act carelessly with them, you can absolutely devastate your life in numberless ways. And other people's lives too. Honestly, compared to today's tech, magic as described in books seems a lot more archaic most of the time. Like, why do a communication spell when you can just whip out your phone and tap a message in 5 seconds? Want to know info about something? Don't need to flip through an old book on beasts. Just Google it or use a reverse image search. Want to destroy your enemy? Use satellite technology and drone bomb them from afar. No need to get dirty with a magic battle.